In this week's episode, I'm going to be showing you all of the games that I picked up from the recent London gaming market, as well as a few other games too. There's some great stuff to get into in this week's episode, starting off with a game for the Game Boy Color that I'm very surprised that I didn't already own, but I finally managed to find it. This is The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. I have Ages boxed and it's in really good condition, so I'm very happy to now add Seasons to the collection as well. And I got this one from one of my favourite stalls at the London gaming market. They're quite a new trader, they've only been around for a few years now I believe, but they are one of my favourite tables. Just take a look at how cool it looks, seeing all of these really good condition Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games on the table. If you want to find them online, they don't sell online, but if you want to follow them and see what they get in, then follow them on Twitter. They're called Bygone Games, as you can see right there. And let's just open it up so I can show you inside. So there's the box. In pretty good condition, it does have a few little scratches on the top and the bottom, but overall, incredibly happy to have that to add to my Zelda collection. It's one of the final games I needed. And again, the manual isn't in the best condition, it is a little bit scuffed at the top there, but inside it looks fine. It's only the first few pages that have been folded back. And the game looked like it didn't have any issues at all, and it does come in the protective plastic thing there as well, so inside it looks fantastic. Can't wait to play it. I've never actually played this Zelda game before, believe it or not, so maybe I'll do that over on stream at some point. And if you want to catch me playing games live, check me out on Twitch or on my YouTube channel just for live streams called RetroBreak_live. I also picked up one other game from Bygone Games as well. This one is Spyro Season of Ice for the Game Boy Advance, one of my favourite games in the entire Spyro franchise. I do own the game, but I actually only owned the cartridge, so I'm very happy now to actually have the box and the manual to go alongside it, just like I had back in the day. So really happy to have this, and for only 25 quid as well. Really couldn't say no to this one. This one is for an upcoming video on the best games for the Game Boy Color. This is As Your Dreams, and I've heard a lot of really good things about this game. It's kind of like a Pokemon clone meets a dungeon crawling experience with randomly generated dungeons. So really excited to check this one out. I'll be doing it over on stream as well, so again, follow me on Twitch or YouTube if you want to see me playing through this one. And this one is in really nice condition. Look at the condition of the manual for this one. Not a scratch on it, like it's barely been touched. So really looking forward to checking this out, and apparently it also has a really good version on the PS1 as well, which I would also like to try and get at some point in the near future. Now back to the London gaming market, and this is a really cool special edition that I picked up for the Switch. This is one of the games in the Touhou series, and this one caught my eye at the back of one of the tables, and I didn't know anything about this game. I'm a big fan of Touhou, but I only really play the traditional shoot-'em-up games. But when I saw this, I knew I had to get it because I've been on a bit of a Touhou binge recently. The game itself isn't very good, but it did come with a bunch of cool things. So it came with a soundtrack CD, and I love the Touhou soundtrack. And this one has some really great arrangements of some of the original music from the games. It also came with a art book as well, with some really nice official artwork in there. And of course it also came with the game itself, and unfortunately the game itself really isn't very good at all. It's a 3D arena style fighting game, but the controls just really don't feel that responsive, and the whole movement mechanics and the way you dodge the enemies and the way that you actually attack is very awkward. I played it for a few hours and it wasn't really the worst thing ever, but I don't really see myself going back to play this once I did a little bit to capture some footage for this video. But even so, really happy to have the collector's edition, especially for the art book and the soundtrack, which of course, they don't really care whether the gameplay is good or not. It's really cool to have these. And something else Touhou related, so after the show, I had a bit of time to kill before the train because it was delayed, so I went for a walk and I found this shop here called Animetal, and they're moving into a bigger shop very soon. But I was just blown away with what I saw when I walked around the shop. It easily had the most amount of anime and gaming figures that I'd seen in one place, let alone in London, so I was really excited. And I also found some Touhou figures in there as well. I could only really physically carry one of them back with me because I had to go on the train, so I picked up this one right here. So this character is Sanae from Touhou 10 Mountain of Faith, I believe, which is one of my favourites in the series. So when I saw this on display, I knew that I had to pick this one up. And she is a playable character in some of the later games, like Undefined Fantastic Object. And I'm just so happy with this. I know it's only a prize figure, and it's not really that exciting, but to find a Touhou figure in the wild in London was just an amazing thing, so I just had to get it. And I may have looked a bit silly walking around with a giant box with a Touhou character on the side, going back to the train station, but I didn't really care, so I'm really happy to have that, and the Touhou Special Edition game to go along with it. Now, next up is a game that combines two of my favourite vertical scrolling shooters from the Saturn and the Dreamcast in one collection. This is Gunbird Special Edition for the PlayStation 2, and I really enjoyed playing this as soon as I got back from the gaming market. I put it in and I played all the way through the first game and then most of the second one. I love these games, they're two of my favourite vertical scrolling shooters ever, and to have them both in the same collection here on the PlayStation 2 is just fantastic. Definitely give them a try if you're into your scrolling shooters and you've never tried them before, and this is probably the best way to play them both as well. And the next game I picked up at the show is a game that I've wanted for the Switch for a while, not a retro game. This is Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, and I am absolutely blown away with how good this game is. I've been playing it most nights since I got back from the market, and it's just amazing, it really is. The attention to detail in this game and the polish, the level of polish is just immaculate. It really is so much fun to play. Basically, it's a mix of a very light farming sim but with really deep mechanics and sort of exploration-based 2D platforming, and it just melds the two different genres together just perfectly, so I really can't wait to play more of this. And if you want a fun game to play on the Switch, highly recommend this one, and you can get it for about 20-25 quid as well, so it's not even that expensive, and it's easily become one of my favourite games of the year so far, so definitely check it out if you can. Now, going from one of my favourite games of the year to actually my favourite game of the year so far, this is Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, and again, I know I've said this already, but I am just blown away by how good this game is. Honestly, it feels weird, like it has no right to be as good as it is, but I played all the way through the game on stream and I just had the biggest smile on my face the entire time. Sega have absolutely nailed it with this game. It literally is everything I could have ever wanted from the series. I haven't been back since that stream to try out the EX levels yet, and that is something that I'm planning to do very soon, so potentially I'll make a review after that. I know some people have asked, where's my review on the game? I didn't get a review copy this time. In fact, I actually got it a few weeks after launch because my pre-order got cancelled. But I have to say, it is a 10 out of 10 so far. Definitely go ahead and pick yourselves up a copy of Banana Rumble if you can. And I'll see whether that 10 out of 10 holds after I've played through the EX stages, but definitely join me on Twitch and YouTube to watch me play through it live. At some point, I'm not going to pressure myself into getting a review out or anything because it's already a bit late for that, but even so, I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'm so happy, and please go and buy it and tell Sega we want more of this. This is perfect. Next is a game that I picked up from CEX very recently actually, and this is one that they had on display at the back behind the counter, and I was squinting at the shelf and then I noticed Bubble Bobble for the Sega Master System. For some reason I've never owned this version of the game, and I know that it's one of the best versions out there, so I got it. I got home that evening and I put it in the Master System, and yeah, it is amazing. It's so much better than the NES game, and I just love the Bubble Bobble series and the franchise in general, so I'm really happy to finally own quite possibly the best home console conversion of that game. Really is immaculate. Definitely recommend it. The next game is one that I've been waiting for a long time, and it finally turned up. I was one of the original backers on the Kickstarter for Sea of Stars, and I was actually quite annoyed that people who didn't back the game actually managed to get the game before the Kickstarter backers, which I don't really think is fair, but I do at least get this special collector's edition. The pieces are all sort of scattered around the room at this point, but Here's something cool that came with it. This is a nice acrylic standee for the game with 2 of the characters there. I haven't got round to playing it just yet, but please let me know down in the comments below what you think of the game if you have played it already. So this next thing here isn't actually a game, but it's something really cool, and it's kind of linked to a game that I've been playing and a video that I want to work on. So I'm working on a video at the moment on the original Mega Man game for the NES and the Famicom, and the composer for that game was Manami Matsumae, and I've found out through doing some research online that a few years back she actually released this album here called 3 Movements. And basically this album goes through her journey through the past 30 years of music production, all the way from simple 8-bit melodies all the way up to full orchestral music. And these are all completely original tracks that are kind of mimicking those sort of progressions through the years in 3 separate stages, hence the name 3 Movements. And I've been really enjoying listening to this since I picked it up, so if you actually want to get this CD for yourselves, I'll put a link in the description to where I picked it up from. Definitely recommend picking up the CD version as well, because inside here in the little leaflet it actually gives you an idea about what her reasoning behind all the different tracks was and the kind of visuals that accompany the audio as well. So really cool, really happy to have this. It's definitely a very unique thing to add to the collection. And the final thing in this video is also not a game, it is this, something else I picked up for my Mega Man video. This is the Mega Man Robot Masters Field Guide, written by Nadia Oxford, who's a fellow retro gaming content creator. Not on YouTube though, she actually does a host of different podcasts with Retronauts and also on her own as well. But basically what this book is, it goes through all of the first 8, I think, games in the series, and it lists out all of the different Robot Masters along with a bit of backstory about them and their special model numbers and their strengths and weaknesses, and it's just a really nice piece of reference material, and I'll definitely be using it in my video for Mega Man 1 when I go through the background of the Robot Masters from that game. So anyway, thank you so much for watching these pickups. Click up there to watch all my previous episodes, and I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye!